Hello again, everyone. Let's continue where we left off. Assuming you've done all the doors, I'm quickly going to show you how to do the windows. And let's see here. We have first window is this office window. If we zoom in, it's about 20 centimeters away from the edge of the door and has a width of 80 centimeters. So we can zoom in here and then choose a red color. We'll do a line starting from this end at 0 in the x direction, 200 in the y direction, and then I could go to the perpendicular. Need to go up at 0, 800 because I have 80 centimeters. Enter and then go to the left perpendicular and escape to get out of the command. Now let's choose this one, this red color, move from this end to the middle, and then let's trim from this point, or these are the two cutting edges, space bar, and then trim this hatch pattern. So click on one of the lines and that does it. Now we can choose these and go by layer, and that's our first window. And let's go to the other windows here on the side. So the first window is about 270 millimeters away, has a width of 4 meters and 18 centimeters. So we can start again with a line from this corner at 0, -270, enter, and then go out to the right side perpendicular, and then at 0, -4, 220, enter. Let's span up and then go to the perpendicular, and then, well, that wasn't perpendicular, was it? Let's try again. Okay, Control Z to escape and then go back, zoom in, make sure you pick the perpendicular to the line. Okay, and we need to go down by how much from that point on? 930 millimeters. So at 0, -930, enter. Let's span up again. Go to the right to the perpendicular. What's the next dimension? It's 210 centimeters at 0, -2100 millimeters. Enter and pan up or zoom out. Pick the perpendicular. What's the next one? 1850 at 0, -1850. Enter and pick the perpendicular, and then we have to go another 1150. So at 0, -1150, enter, and let's go to pick the perpendicular, and that is it. We don't have any more windows along that wall. So escape to get out of the command. Let's go back up. Double click. I need to go here. This first guideline, I don't need it. And the second guide, which is here, I'm going to move it to the middle. And let's go down to here. I have another guideline right there. I'm going to pick it up from the bottom to the middle. Of course, this line I don't need, so delete it. This line, I need to extend it to the end, to the perpendicular. Let's go down further. I have a line there, and then move it from either the top or the bottom to the middle. And now, what happened here? Let's see. Oh, it actually moved. I didn't move it. I should have extended it. So now I should move it again. Move from this point to the perpendicular. Okay. Now let's do some trimming. Let's choose this and this, and then go trim, and let's trim. Click on any one line of this pattern, and that does it. And let's issue the trim command again and do the same thing for this window. Spacebar to start selecting what we want to trim. Escape, go down, issue the command again, choose this and that. Spacebar, choose the pattern, then Control A and go by layer, and we're done with the windows on this side. So let's do the windows at the bottom. And the windows at the bottom are, starting from the left, is 1 meter. So can zoom in, and then line from this corner at 1000, 0, enter, up to the perpendicular, and then the first one is 2100 at 2100, 0, enter, perpendicular, and then the next one 1850 at 1850, 0, enter, and then go up to the perpendicular, and the last window is 1150 at 1150, 0, enter, and then go to the perpendicular and escape. Now I don't need this anymore. It was just to locate the first window. Delete that, and then we have a guideline here. I mean the middle window, middle line. Let's move it from this end to the middle of the short line, and do the same thing with this line. So move from there. Oops, I don't need to move both, so just this line by itself. Move from this end to the middle. Okay, now let's do some trimming. Trim, I can choose all these edges together instead of doing them in stages. Then spacebar, choose the pattern between these two and the pattern between these two. Control A to select everything, go by layer, and the entire architecture now is complete. Notice there is an additional undesired hatch pattern here, so I'm going to choose it, click on it somewhere, and then delete, and that's it. Okay, now we need to enter dimensions and labels. So let's create 3 layers using the layer properties window. I'm going to fix it here. Try again. Open new layer. I'm going to call the first one architecture or floor plan if you wish, and leave it white. Next one we're going to call it dimensions, and let's make it red. Third one, let's call it labels, and let's make it blue. Okay, I'm done. Let's minimize this. Right, now I need to go to annotation scale. Make sure my scales are done correctly. This one, let us choose, for example, 3.5. And notice that the text in the lab write-up is not the same size. These have the same size, 3.5 or 4, and this has a different size. Maybe this is 7. So let's choose 3.5 for now. And for, make sure you are on annotative dimensions and annotative text, and let's go modify and make sure that we have 2 decimal points, period. And now this is not going to be centimeters, it's going to be meters, and the factor is 0.001 to convert millimeters to meters. Let's make this 2, and the text 2 or 2.5 is okay. Let's make it 2.5. 2 or 2.5. And same thing for text height. Primary units are done, and we're good to go. Okay, and close. And now let's go linear, pick up from this point to the perpendicular. Why did it not happen? The reason why you don't see it here is because the same issue that keeps cropping up every time. Before you enter any annotation or text, you must set your annotation scale. And you cannot set your annotation scale until you set your print scale. So you need to go to model space, double click the wheel, and then choose a scale. For this particular drawing, we are good to choose 1 to 100. And let's pan it a little bit up to leave room for the title block, and then let's lock it. Now we can go back and choose annotation scale to be the same, 1 to 100. You can see that it's more visible. Now we can enter the other dimensions. And there's your 13.62. Let's do a few more. For example, from this point to the perpendicular. And let's do one last one from here to there. I need to capture this side. So if the text is too big, you can always go back and adjust. Like for example, I could go here, modify, and then we'll make this 2 and make text 2. That probably should adjust it a little more reasonably. Okay, now suppose I don't want this big line to be there, so I can take this handle and bring it back to there. I think you get the gist of it. I don't need to do all the dimensions for you. You can understand the idea. Now, some of the text actually was a little bit too small in the drawing. Like for example, this one. So what am I going? Well, how do we do that? Let's try and capture this one. And this is too big. Now, if you go and change the style, everything will change. However, you can change the dimensions for individual components by changing the individual items on the properties window. So let's say, for example, 0.6 for arrow size, and let's go down to text and make that 0.6 as well, and there it is. See, now it's small, but you can when you zoom in, you can see it. Okay, now let's turn our attention to labels first. Let's see what this is now. Obviously, we needed to go to dimensions layer first before we entered these dimensions so that they reside in the proper location. So now they are living in the dimensions. Also, the architecture should go to the architecture layer. So I'm going to say Control A, move everything to the architectural layer, and then again choose these individual dimensions I have just entered, and then move them to the dimensions, and then here we'll say by layer. Okay, so my current layer should be changed now to labels, and let's start making some text. So let's put here office, enter. This is office 09.2.1. 09.52. If you wish, you can make it capital, the same as in the lab, and you can center the text, both lines. And that's the first one. Second one, you can copy this and change it, or start another one and go store, enter, and the number is 09253, 09.2.53, and center it, center the other one, and click away to accept. Okay, you can make adjustments as you wish. And let's do the main room as well. And it says lab. Okay, something, let's go again. Lab, enter, 09.2.54. Again, let's center, and then adjust. I don't need that much. Now, of course, this is a little bit smaller, obviously quite smaller than what the what is shown on the lab drawing. So let's go to properties and go to paper text height, change that to 7, and that looks better. And that's it for labels. Now you have dimensions and labels. Of course, you need to put more dimensions. Always make sure that you are in the correct layer. So I can go to dimensions again, for example, and pick up this door, and so on and so forth. And that concludes this tutorial for entering dimensions. I will see you in the next tutorial for title block.